Badgers have been to 19 straight NCAA tourneys, but they're on the south side of a 500 record right now. A nice home opportunity game for them next with Marquette from America's Dairy Land. Coach, quick defensive stance. Get in there.
Come on.
Nice slow, Coach.
Push foot. Come on, bring it.
While you work your defense, determining factors. Jim, determining factor. Keep it low, Coach.
Well, I mean, in Wisconsin, Ethan Happ is dynamic down low, but now you can double team because you're not knocking down shots. Very important for Wisconsin. Somebody has to knock down some perimeter shots. It's real simple. You knock down shots, Ethan Happ has more room to operate in the paint.
Time and space to work down low because that three-point shooting stretches the defense. I'm actually going to say the same as you. I think it's key Marquette knocks down threes because Wisconsin keeps that defense tight. Rousey, Howard, and Hauser got to combine for 14 threes if Marquette's going to win. That's mathematics, metrics, and data
what about
of the day.
Rebounding?
14 threes.
Rebounding?
No, it's about, for Marquette, they got
but they got to rebound the ball.
Marquette just got to shoot it. They got to make shots.
Somebody got to rebound the defense.
They've never rebounded. Come on. Marquette shoots the ball.
That did not count as your cardio for the day.
No.
All right. I know you're breathing heavy, but that's not going to cover it. So things we've learned slapping the floor, defensive stances. We've learned starting walk-ons, no bueno, and we've learned it's all about guard play today. That's it.
Guard play, baby.
Anything else you guys need to know? We'll be back at halftime. Oh, what are we doing here out for the Kohl Center? Brian Anderson, defense, Stephen Bardo, guys.
All right, guys, you said there'd be no math this early in the game. We are ready to go here. A rivalry matchup at the Kohl Center in Madison, Wisconsin. The Marquette Golden Eagles, the Wisconsin Badgers, separated by just 75 miles. They've been playing this rivalry since 1917. Hi, everybody. Brian Anderson with the great Stephen Bardo. Great to have you with us. We start today's broadcast with some heavy news for the Wisconsin Badgers. They have trouble in their backcourt. Two guards are not available here today. Kobe King is out with a knee injury, and Demetric Trice is out with a foot injury.
So you're talking about a young team. In 4 games, they were 2 points at the 2-minute mark. So they've struggled closing down games with their backcourt in full tact. And so it's going to be very difficult to do something without Demetric Trice and Kobe King in the backcourt. Kobe King was playing some of the best basketball of any Badger before he got hurt.
Well, Demetric Trice is on the bench. Kobe King not with the team right now. And this starting lineup for the Badgers as they take on Marquette today. The Badgers are going to go with 3 guards: Brad Davison, Brevin Pritzel, and Khalil Iverson. You might see Iverson run a little bit of the point with the second unit. And then Stephen Marquette, they come in with a record of 6-3 and a dynamic backcourt.
Yeah, one of the best scoring backcourts in the country. You're talking about between Howard, Rousey, and Hauser. 90 made threes already this season.
Longtime rivals, Marquette and Wisconsin. And here we go from the Kohl Center. Badgers coming in 4-6, having lost on the road at Temple their last time out after a win against Penn State. Remember, Wisconsin already has 2 conference games in play. As Davison with an air ball, and it's out of bounds off of Iverson. It'll be Marquette ball.
Interested to see how Marquette's going to guard Happ. They went on the pass, double-teamed him as soon as he caught the basketball. They're going to try to change up looks on him in the post.
Howard and Rousey. Rousey back in the starting lineup. And as Coach mentioned during the pregame show, they're going to try to get up a lot of threes, and they've been hitting the threes. They want to score. They want to move the pace. Badgers just the opposite. They want to try to slow it down as best they can. Marquette averaging 84 points a game. Wisconsin averaging just over 66 a game and holding their opponents to just shy of 64. Another takeaway. Marquette on the move with Rousey. Fires a 3, and it is down. And Andrew Rousey, the sharpshooter.
You're not going to find a team in America that shoots the basketballs efficiently as Marquette. These guys are fun to watch. They space you. They make you make tough decisions each time down the floor.
Here's Pritzel, and Pritzel with the little reverse. Well, nicely done. Pritzel's one of those guys that can get hot from behind the arc. Wisconsin is hoping he does get his shot going, but he adds a little bit of that element of the drive, and suddenly he could put up some points. Howard in and out with the 3. Iverson flying high with a rebound.
You're going to have to pick up Marcus Howard from the parking lot. This guy's got unlimited range and a neon green light from his coach to let it fly.
Davison still wearing that harness with the left shoulder injury. A lean forward comes up short. And Sakar Anam pulls down the board. Here come the Golden Eagles. Rousey, ball fake inside, Helt springs free. Good action there by Marquette.
Rousey is an underrated passer. Andrew Rousey, a great scorer, but he had 10 assists in the last game against Vermont. He can really set up his teammates.
Ethan Happ finally getting a touch, almost poked away by Helt. Here's Iverson. Adams right on him. Tough shot. Difficult angle, but Iverson connects.
Yeah, Khalid Iverson's going to have to really be aggressive. He's going to force the issue. When Wisconsin's been successful, they've had multiple scores and not depending on Ethan Happ.
Iverson now a junior. He and Charlie Thomas, part of that junior class that has not played up to the expectation of the Badgers. Thomas is hardly playing these days. Iverson still in the starting lineup. Anam, shot clock at 6. Wow, got it to his right hand and scores.
Sakar Anam, when he scores, Brian, that's bonus points for Marquette. They don't really need him to be a scorer, but he's come out aggressive here this afternoon.
Anam averages just over 6 points a game for Marquette. Happ runs into the double team. And Happ will pull a little mid-range. Hauser pulls down the board. That's really the biggest question for Wisconsin. Who's going to be that second scorer? And from the corner, Marcus Howard for 3. And timeout, Greg Gard. Marquette, their first true road game. They've come out hot, hit a couple of threes, and they're up 6.
I saw the change in Rich when we moved into the new house, but having his parents over was enlightening.
You don't like my lasagna?
No, it's good.
Here, blow. Blow on it.
You see it, right?
Is there a draft in here? I'm telling you, it's so easy to get home insurance on Progressive.com.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto.
10-4, Marquette off to a good start here at the Kohl Center in Madison, and Rousey setting up, and then Howard knocking it down. That assist by Rousey to Helt, and then how about Howard shooting at 41% from behind the arc, knocks down the 3. Back at play as Ethan Happ finally gets into the score column. He's going to need a whole lot of Happ today, Steve, and if Wisconsin is going to have a chance.
You're right, and I like that time that Ethan Happ didn't wait to see what the defense was doing. He went before the defense could get set.
Oh, Howard all the way to the rim with the left hand, goes under the basket.
See, Wisconsin is switching on defense. Marquette is taking advantage of that. The last time you saw Rousey hit Helt for the dunk, that time Ethan Happ cannot keep up foot speed with Howard.
Brevin Pritzel with an air ball from the corner. Rousey handles the ball, runs the point, little crossover, gives it up. Helt clears some space, can't make the layup, and it ends up in the hands of Howard with a fresh shot clock. Hauser, little ball fake, steps in it. And it's a rebound by Ford. Davison will slow it down. An already beat up backcourt for the Badgers, even more so today. If you're just joining us, 2 of their main rotation players, including their starting point guard, is out. Dimitri Trice and Kobe King, both not available today with injuries. Iverson, Pritzel kept it alive. Rousey's got it, and on the move, in transition, gives it up. Anam all the way in. And Marquette with the speed game, taking care of Wisconsin early.
I've seen Marquette 3 times this season. They have not been this sharp to start the game. They are on fire here, getting anything they want on the offensive end.
You heard a lot more of the rivalry talk from the Marquette side of things than you did the Badger side. The Badgers are dealing with the injuries, and they've got problems right now that they're trying to cover. But for Marquette, as Happ with a nice runner in the lane, snaps a 9-2 Marquette run. I think Marquette, you know, there's no football involved with the Golden Eagles. This is the game as you get into conference play in the Big East. This is the one non-conference game that every Marquette fan looks at. As Hauser gets it inside, the ball is popping right now for the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, Marquette's getting anything they want on the offensive end. They're not even being patient with it. They're getting 1 or 2 passes, and the defense is breaking down for Wisconsin.
Davison posting up Howard. And is going to be on the floor. And that takes us to a timeout. Foul on Howard. 16-8. How about an 11-4 run for the Marquette Golden Eagles?
I've been taken. My heart is racing 100 miles. Every second I'm with you. Every second I'm with you. This is love, 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 love. The only thing I know is true. This is the love that I could fall into. La 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 la.
It's one of the great rivalries in college basketball, separated by just 75 miles. Marquette in downtown Milwaukee to Madison, Wisconsin, home of the Badgers, meeting at the Kohl Center today. How about Buzz Williams, Bo Ryan, and Nigel Hayes at the Bradley Center from a few years back. This goes back to 1917. Stephen, you and I have been honored to be a part of this rivalry for a number of years now. It's one of the best in the game now. These two teams, neither one of them ranked, so it doesn't have the national spice that it normally would, but there's no question when they get together, there's a lot on the line here.
Every single time, and you called it. It doesn't. The records don't matter. The rankings don't matter. All these guys know each other. They play against each other in high school. They play against each other in the summer. There's bragging rights involved.
TJ Schlunt, and they're going to check it to see if he got it off in time. Schlunt is the walk-on that Rob and company were talking about in the pregame that is going to get elevated minutes now with the two guards out, King and Trice. TJ Schlunt, we've seen him in practice. This guy can knock him down.
Well, you know, Wisconsin is struggling with their confidence, and when you have a guy that comes in like TJ does, there's no hesitation. Obviously, there's some time pressure on that release. Oh, wow. Oborowski waves it off.
Yeah, they're going to wave it off. It looked like a 0 on the clock. Remember, you go on the 0 first. Initially, you're supposed to go off the sound, but with arenas being as loud as they are, they have the ability now to check that right away. And so it changes the potential possessions. Normally, you might see it whether it was off as a 2 or a 3, but when it's a shot clock situation, you go to the monitor right away. And it was off late, so still an 8-point lead. And here's Hauser, and Iverson knocks it out of bounds. That'll stay in the possession of Marquette.
Even though Schlunt's 3 didn't count, Brian, the Badgers are struggling with their confidence right now. And anybody that can come in and step up with some confidence like that, that's only going to help.
Here's Rousey with a quick pull, and he hits it. Andrew Rousey with a 3-pointer. He and Howard are 1-2 in the Big East right now in scoring. Howard averaging 22.4. Andrew Rousey 21.6 points per game.
And if you can show me a team that has 2 better shooters than Rousey and Howard, then I've got a bridge to sell you, because these 2 guys are the best in the country, in my opinion, from deep.
And Davison able to draw the foul. One thing about Rousey and Howard, they are undersized, and so if you're Wisconsin and you've got a guy like Davison, there's a little pushing and shoving there with Rousey and Aaron Maish.
So here's the thing. Andrew Rousey and Aaron Maish, who wins that battle? Obviously Wisconsin, because Aaron Maish is coming off the bench. If Andrew Rousey gets a technical here, he's an integral part, second leading scorer in the Big East. He's got to be able to maintain his focus and not get caught up in that.
Double technical between Rousey and Maish. One thing Steve Wojciechowski talked to us a little bit today about Rousey is, you know, he wanted him to be more of a leader, take a more vocal role. It's really not his personality, but on the floor, he's one of these guys that you can get under his skin. He plays with a lot of emotion, And that was a concern for Steve Wojciechowski. We saw it show up a little bit in the last game against Vermont.
Well, when you're a smaller guard like Andrew Rousey, you've been fighting all your life, and you play with a chip on your shoulder. And a lot of times it's good. 90% of the times it's good. But that 10% is when he gets in trouble. And so Andrew Rousey trying to calm down a little bit. Marquette understands who they have in a teammate. And again, most of the time you like that chip on your shoulder, but sometimes it gets him in trouble.
Took him out of the starting lineup for the last game as Davison hits a free throw. And so Rousey, by the way, the double technical puts a second foul on Rousey, who goes to the bench. Maish picks up the other tee, and Maish will head to the bench as well. And Rousey will cool the Jets with 2 fouls, probably for a good chunk of the rest of this first half. And Davison hits a couple of free throws.
Well, as you saw the graphic, Andrew Rousey had 10 assists last game versus Vermont. So he's an integral part of setting up this offense. And so with him being out.
Offensive foul. Going the other way, Marcus Howard pushes off. Davison's been right in the middle of both of these. That's the second for Marcus Howard.
Davison comes back and gets in position and does a great job of selling the call. There was a little bit of contact, but that young man's got a drama major in his future.
Well, he has been able to hang a couple of fouls on the guards as Iverson is now fouled. Jamal Cain getting his first run of the game, got a hand on the wrist of Iverson. What started as a string for Marquette with their guard play because of the injuries to the Badgers level the playing field a little bit now with Howard 2 fouls, Rousey with 2 fouls. Britzel's coming back in for TJ Schlund.
Well, when you look at Wisconsin, or excuse me, when you look at Marquette, Cain and Elliott are going to be fantastic players, but they're freshmen. They're young.
Got a foul on Wisconsin on Ethan Happ, which will be his first. So the second team foul for Wisconsin. Marquette has 5 team fouls. One of your keys before the game was getting to the free throw line if you're the Wisconsin Badgers, and they're in a position to do that with foul trouble.
Yeah, you have to, because with Kobe King out and Demetrius Trice, 2 guys that are really your better guys on the floor.
Howard gets it to go and draws the foul. A chance at 3 for Marcus Howard.
Watch the concentration and the strength on this finish. There's the bump, gets hit in the head, he squares his shoulders up, Ryan. We don't talk enough about his strength. This young man is really well built.
So for Howard, that is 27 consecutive free throws made this season. Going back to last season, he's made 36 in a row at the charity stripe. I waited till after he shot that. I saw you look at me that way. He said, don't do it. Barno said, don't say it. But he is money from the free throw line. He gets a lot of points there.
Well, the good ones aren't affected by the broadcaster's jinx.
Reavers with a new haircut, and Reavers comes up empty. Iverson keeps it alive, ends up in the hands of Pritzel. Happ's got it on the block, and a tough pass to Iverson. And now Wisconsin will try to get it organized. Boy, a mismatched possession, and it's going to end up with foul shots for Ethan Happ. Wisconsin getting it in the ground, playing it dirty. And the Badgers will have free throws coming up when we continue from the Kohl Center. Well, Marcus Howard continues to be a bright spot for the Marquette Golden Eagles. How about his record-setting performance against Chicago State? You called that game.
Yeah, he was fantastic. And here's the thing, he doesn't force a lot of shots. I was there for Vermont as well. And Brian, it's like typically players that score the way that he does, they're volume shooters, not Marcus Howard. Very, very efficient.
Howard with 34 points on 6 of 11 shooting behind the arc against Vermont. Made those 6 threes, also made all 6 of his free throws as Ethan Happ misses the first free throw. And those 11 three-pointers made against Chicago State. Last year, Howard led the nation in three-point percentage, set a freshman record nationally. And in this game last year, it was one of his early breakout games in this rivalry matchup. Howard dropped 22 on the Badgers in their matchup last season in Milwaukee. Elliott kicks it. Here's Hauser, gives it up, and Howard gets it organized. Howard on the take. Little floater is blocked by Reavers.
I like this young player, Reavers. He's going to be quite a player for the Badgers. Doesn't shy away from contact. He's not strong enough yet, but he'll get there.
Happ gets it deep. Helt is on him. Kicks it to Iverson for three. And Howard pulls down the rebound. Howard shifty. Elliott on the take. And now Hauser camping on the three-point line. Hits it.
See, when Marquette has freshmen and Kane and Elliott that are willing to make the extra pass to these wonderful shooters. That's why Hauser's wide open. Marquette really clicking on all cylinders.
Hauser coming off a big game against Vermont as well. That was a 91-81 win for Marquette on Tuesday. Hauser had 17 in that game. Another turnover. Hauser jumps the lane, gets a steal, fires up another three. And Sam Hauser, back-to-back trips with three-pointers. And the Marquette Golden Eagles are rolling right now.
Oh, and you have your power forward that can push it up, pull from three, nothing but cotton, and feeling good.
All right, listen up. Out on that field today, you will be ready for anything. And I want you to always remember, this is the greatest team you will ever be part of.
And when they're asked, what did you do to make a difference in the world? They can say, I became a soldier.
Sam Hauser with a couple of threes. The kid from Spash, Stevens Point Area High School, with a little splash here at the Kohl Center. This is a floor he is very familiar with, teaming up with his brother Joey at Stevens Point, a couple of state championships for those two. Joey coming to Marquette next year. He's already committed. One of the great players in the country at the prep level. That's a travel turnover, Wisconsin. Points off turnovers for Marquette. 12-0 at this point, trying to add to it. And that all-important third option for the Golden Eagles.
And you know what? Here's the thing. Sam Hauser doesn't get enough credit for how good he really is. He touches so many areas of the game. He's so solid. Defender, rebounder, coach on the floor. He's not a demonstrative guy, but he's a leader in his own right. And with his body, does a lot of things.
Here's Davison with the turnover. He gets it on the steal and finishes at the rim. Much-needed bucket for Wisconsin.
You know, that last play where Pritzel didn't take the wide-open shot and result in a turnover for Ethan Happ is all you need to know about the mindset collectively of the Badgers, just lacking confidence.
And in desperate need of a secondary score. We talk about the third option for Marquette. Wisconsin is searching for that second option as Hauser comes up short. Davison comes away with a rebound.
I still like that shot by Hauser. He's got the advantage in that situation.
And Davison so adept at drawing fouls. One freshman to another as Jamal Kane picks up the foul. Second foul on Kane, the 6'7" freshman, and Davison is headed to the line. Now we've got 9:08 remaining in this first half, and the Badgers are in the bonus the rest of the way.
And that's what the Badgers need to do. When you're a team that's struggling, you're missing two important players. You've got to generate points different ways, and this is one way they can do so.
Brad Davison gets a call as the starting point guard today, with Demetric Trice out with a foot injury. Rousey coming back in, drawing some boos from this Wisconsin crowd. Rousey enters the game with 2 fouls. So you got Rousey and Howard both on the floor together with 2 fouls and 9:08 remaining. Davison hits the 2 free throws.
If I'm the Wisconsin Badger fans, I don't boo him. I don't boo Andrew Rousey. He likes that. That feeds into his personality.
Rousey hit with a technical foul for his second. Trying to dump it off, he turns it over. That's Davison once again. He's taken on Howard. Strong to the basket, gets the friendly bounce. Everything good for Wisconsin has come through that guy right there, Brad Davison.
Where you see him, he's pumping the crowd up, he's pumping his teammates up. This guy's a gamer.
Rousey gets it blocked by Iverson. Right into the hands of Hauser. Shot clock at 9. Howard, little step back three, long range bomb is good. And Howard quiets down the crowd.
This is one of the reasons why I love covering Marquette. When these guys get in trouble, they can outshoot trouble. Not a lot of teams in America can do that.
See if Wisconsin has an answer here. They need something good in sustained fashion here for a while. They are down big early. And Davison draws the foul again. Third foul on Andrew Rousey. Timeout on the floor. Free throws coming. And Rousey in foul trouble. However, Marquette looking good, getting all they want.
Hey, when you can shoot it like this over Ethan Happ and anybody else, why not?
(31-17) Marquette having their way against the Wisconsin Badgers. Beautiful state capitol on a beautiful Saturday. Little snow cover as well in Madison. Moments ago, we listened in on Steve Wojciechowski in the Marquette huddle.
Take care of the basketball.
From yesterday afternoon.
The ball has got to continue to move. And we got to value it.
Became the first team to come
and on this end, we got to play our defense hard without fouling.
Well, Coach Wojciechowski not pleased with the last 2 turnovers, Brian. They're live ball variety, resulting in Davison being able to get 2 layups and get the crowd back into the game. Only 3 turnovers here in the first half, but those last 2 he's concerned about.
Well, that's a big break there as Davison misses 2 free throws. He has scored the last 6 points for Wisconsin. 31-17. Marquette is 6 of 7 from behind the 3-point line, and they've made 5 consecutive threes. Howard on the take, little floater is good. That's a new element to his game this season that he's added so well.
Every guard needs a floater. If you're going to get into the paint and go up amongst the trees, you need an opportunity to get it off without contact. Marcus Howard is so good at mixing his game up.
Talked to Steve Wojciechowski about that. He said he needed it because he was finding out fast coming from high school. As Schlott hits a 3. So he's made 2. This one actually counts. TJ Schlott. But Wojo talking about Howard says, well, after you find out you go into the paint, you end up on your backside every time and maybe turning the ball over. You got to come up with something to counter that. And Howard, wow, what a shot. Quick release. Delivers another long-range missile for Marquette.
I'm telling you, man, this guy's one of the better guards in the United States in all of the college game. I don't know why he's not getting enough love, because I haven't seen many guys that can go off the bounce or catch and shoot as well as Marcus Howard.
Howard has scored the last 8. And Howard has, in 12 minutes, scored 16 points on 6 of 8 shooting. Aleem Ford steps inside the line, too strong. Annam pulls down the board. Howard trying to stretch this lead out. It is at 16, could be 19. And he misses the 3, Happ with the rebound.
And you got to let him take it. I mean, give him the green light. He was feeling it. Trying to put the knockout punch against Wisconsin.
Davison fakes on the 3, goes to the hole. No, air ball. And it's going to be out of bounds off of Marquette and Greg Elliott. Back to Howard.
Watch how hard Marcus Howard runs off of these screens. And he's going to come really fast. And Schlott is running full speed. Doesn't matter. His feet are still moving. Howard goes to the hole with the floater. And then this is just pretty here. Sets up. You don't give him any space, and if you do, that's the end result.
Howard's hit 3 threes for 16 points. Here's Davison, a 3, and he hits. Something to cheer about here at the Kohl Center as Brad Davison cuts the deficit to 13. This crowd trying to get into it a little bit. The shooting has been lights out for Marquette. They've made as many 3s as they have 2s in this game. Annam to the hole. No. Happ with a rebound. Happ's a good ball handler for a big man. He kicks it out to Pritzel. Happ with Hauser on him. The left-handed hook. No. Gets his own. Puts it back.
Nice aggressiveness by Ethan Happ. Forcing the issue And the Kohl Center trying to get into it.
Deficit is 11 for Wisconsin. Marquette with the ball in the lead, trying to add to it. Just under 5 minutes. Howard turns a corner, taking on Reavers now. Another rejection. That's twice that a Marquette guard has been blocked. Wisconsin trying to cash it in. Davison picks up his dribble now. Swing offense in play for Greg Gard. Reavers catches it deep. And Reavers too strong off the window. That's going to be off of Annam. That'll be Wisconsin ball. New shot clock.
I like Nate Reavers. I'm telling you, he's a guy that is a little thin right now up front, but he might be trying to swing a 20-pound anvil. It might only be 5, Brian, but he's swinging it.
Well, he sat the first 5 games thinking he might take a red shirt. Once he evaluated the rotations, the potential playing time, he's going to be a big part of this rotation now. So after sitting out the first 5, evaluating whether to take a red shirt or not, he's in there as a true freshman, and it's just a different look for Wisconsin. They're relying so heavily on their freshmen. Not something you've seen a lot of in their program history. That's going to be a foul underneath. I believe they're going to get Reavers on this one. And Reavers under the basket. Now Dimitri Trice is going to be interesting a couple of days here with a foot injury. And the Wisconsin staff telling us, Stephen, it could be a couple of weeks. It could be a season. We just don't know. He's got a foot injury that's going to need some time, get some swelling down to find out the extent of this injury. And then Kobe King goes down in the last 15 minutes of practice yesterday with a knee injury.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate because Dimitri Trice is starting point guard, obviously his importance, but Kobe King, in my opinion, next to Brad Davison, was playing as well as any player coming on and starting to get comfortable in the system.
Hauser, quick release on the catch and shoot. Too strong. Davison with a rebound. I figure Davison's going to have to log a lot of minutes. He and Ethan Happ are going to be 30 plus for sure. Pritzel wide open as Howard fell down, and Pritzel, no, Reavers the board. Reavers goes up, blocked by John. Howard comes away with it.
Greg Gard might blow a gasket on this play here. Tough exchange resulted in the ball for Marquette.
And they get a timeout with Howard surrounded. All right, Rob, thanks. It is an 11-point Marquette lead, this rivalry game. These two programs separated by 75 miles. Let's get into Ethan Happ a little bit. What have you seen, Stephen?
He's seen multiple bodies every time he catches the basketball. Hasn't been poor this half, 7 points, 4 rebounds, but he has 3 turnovers, and a lot of that is because Marquette is paying so much attention to him that every time he gets the basketball, he's either got to go quick, which makes him speed up and turn the ball over, or he's got to get it out of his hands. Good job by Marquette, making him see multiple players every time he catches.
Now Marquette has pushed their lead to 17. They're up 11 with the ball. 3.5 left, and Howard comes up short. There's Happ with the rebound. Does Wisconsin have a run at them to get this back to single digits and get back in this game before the end of the half?
I think they do, Brian, and here's the thing. When you look at the score right now, they're down 11, but Marquette is 7 of 10 from 3. So Wisconsin's not in bad shape. If they score here, get under that psychological barrier of double figures, it could be a ball game.
Schlon travels with it. Turnover, Wisconsin. Uncharacteristic of the Badgers, who have turned it over now 6 times. And you see the numbers for Ethan Happ with 7 and 5 right now. He has turned it over 3 times, but a lot of that, to your point, comes with the traps, and he's trying to make those extra passes. He's carrying a lot of this burden of the Wisconsin offense because of the lack of that secondary score right now.
Yep. And see, Kobe King can go get his own shot, and that's what Wisconsin needs right now.
Theo John connects on the other end. That snaps a run for Marquette. They had missed their last 5 field goal attempts. Howard and Hauser combining to score the last 17 before John hits that little jumper in the lane. Pritzel, release, splash.
That's big. I mean, because he didn't shoot that wide open look along the baseline. He came right out of the game. So now he knows if he's in the game, he gets a look. He better let it fly.
I thought Pritzel had knocked a tooth out when I saw him before the game. That's actually a mouthpiece. It's got a little logo on the front there. Here's Howard trying to answer, cannot. Kane flying high for the board, and a block by Happ, and they'll tie it out. Possession arrow belongs to Marquette.
Jamal Kane and Greg Elliott, these two freshmen, I tell you what, they're going to be fun to watch in Milwaukee the next 3+ seasons. That's a man-sized rebound, and you see he might be 200 pounds soaking wet. When he gets in the weight room, he's going to be tough.
They got some talent on the way, too. Thurl Bailey's son is on his way, and Sam Hauser's little brother, Joey, who's one of the top high school players in the country. This is going to be a team to be reckoned with in years to come. And Marquette got a new arena opening up as well next year. Hauser kicks it, and Kane will deliver the 3-ball. Jamal Kane, who doesn't shoot many threes, he's made just 5 this season. Number 6 puts Marquette up 41-28. Minute and a half to go in this first half. Badgers trying to withstand this blitz by the Golden Eagles. Wow, Happ gets to Reavers, and John meets him at the rim. Now in transition, Howard to the corner. Kane will fire another. And Reavers and Happ ends up in the hands of Happ.
Ooh, Theo John and Jamal Kane, the two freshmen, making a big impact here in the first half.
Happ travels. John pulled the chair. Happ didn't feel the contact, and he walks with it.
Thought Nate Reavers was going to have a poster here, and Theo John said, not on my watch. Two freshmen meeting at the summit.
We've never had, like I said, we've done this game a few years, never had this many freshmen involved with these two programs in a game like this.
You're right. Both programs have kind of gotten old, especially Wisconsin with their 4 senior starters last season.
4 turnover, by the way, for Ethan Happ. We're under a minute to go. Davison working on Hauser. Shot clock down to 11. The dangerous Howard with the ball. And a mismatch with Reavers on it, but Reavers gets another block. Second time. Davison pushes it. Pritzel's got it. Runs into traffic, and boy, Wisconsin lets a golden opportunity get by in transition.
I thought Davison held that ball too long. Could have gotten it to Pritzel a little bit sooner. Pritzel, a good athlete. He could have brought that one home and got the crowd into it.
So a baseline out of bounds. Shot clock at 23. And up top, and Happ with a catch and a finish. Great catch.
The whole Marquette team screamed loud, and they still couldn't stop the play.
Got a chance at a 2-for-1 with that quick basket by Wisconsin. Timeout, Steve Wojciechowski. 11-point game once again. Wojo will draw one up. About 6 seconds separating shot clock and game clock. And what was a lead at 17, Wisconsin's been able to wrestle it back to 11.
Really good execution here. Here's Khalil Iverson. He's going to come and set a screen on Theo John. All Ethan Happ is going to do is run to the rim. They're utilizing the freshman Jamal Kane. He's not been in this situation much. You see his slow reaction resulting in an open layup for Ethan Happ. That's good execution and taking advantage of the freshman.
Every time we see Ethan Happ, all these years, he's been such a great player and has turned himself into a great player, an All-America candidate. One thing jumps off at you right away when you watch him is his hands. This big guy that has great hands. He leads this Wisconsin team in steals, did last year, he's second this year. He's a guy that can force turnovers and make catches like that. He's impressive.
Yes, he is. And you said it earlier, doing so much for his team. Only major conference player to average 16 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists. Does so much for this Badger ball club.
Leads the Badgers in all 3 of those categories. He's over 1,000 points in his career as well. And that is a foul on Annam. An offensive foul is going to give the ball back to Wisconsin and a chance to get it to single digits going into the halftime break.
And Brad Davison got hit on that injured shoulder and a little bit of grimace, but that football background would not allow him to show emotion or pain on his face. I know that would hurt a little bit.
Star quarterback, Maple Grove, Minnesota, had a chance to play football at the next level. Wanted to shoot hoops.
Sakar Annam clocked him good, and you saw him right there. He's back trying to get his composure. He's a tough freshman right here. And his demeanor might make him the mayor of Madison, Wisconsin before it's all said and done.
He's going to get under a lot of skin in the Big Ten over his 4 years. Three-point shooters are on the floor. The press is on. No real ball handlers for Wisconsin. Remember, they're down 2 guards. Davison on the take, and he's fouled on the floor. No shot. Point of emphasis this year, the freedom of movement. And Davison draws another foul. Annam picks up his second foul. And Davison will go to the line to shoot 2 in the double bonus.
That was such a great decision by Marquette to full court pressure in that situation. Totally caught Wisconsin off guard.
It's a 10-point game. Davison has a chance to get it to single digits. Marquette will have 2 seconds to get a shot up. And Davison hits both free throws. Davison in 20 minutes, now 13 points. He's hit 1 3. Full court pressure for Wisconsin. Elliott fires, and that'll take us to the end of the first half. Both teams will have a lot to discuss in the halftime locker room. Wojo and the Golden Eagles were up 17. They go to the break up 9 as Wisconsin finishes on a 12-5 run to end the half. How about 8 3-pointers from Marquette? 8 for 14 from behind the arc. And Marcus Howard with 16 points. Coming up, it's the FS1 College Hoops Halftime Report. Rob Stone, Steve Lavin, Jimmy Jackson. They've got it all for you from Los Angeles right after this. One of the great rivalries in college basketball, Marquette and Wisconsin, goes back 100 years. They started playing these games in 1917. The modern day version, 2 beat up programs right now. Marcus Howard was fantastic in the first half, but the Badgers, Stephen Bardo, on a 12-5 run to end the half, withstanding some terrific 3-point shooting by Marquette. We got a ball game again.
Yeah, we do. The Wisconsin Badgers were able to score the basketball from the free throw line. Weren't very good from the field, but got back into the game from the free throw line, got their defense set, and got a few stops. And so now we got a ball game.
Well, we'll see how the Badgers go. Remember, they're down 2 guards, the 2 injuries to Demetric Trice and Kobe King. And Marquette trying to win on the road. They've won 3 of the last 5 in this matchup. And Marcus Howard continues to prove that he is one of the best guards in the country in college basketball.
I totally agree. And, you know, once again, being very efficient. 6 of 13 from the field, 3 of 7 from 3. And this is what he's really worked on, that little floater and runner that virtually makes him unstoppable, because you can't take away everything. You got to give up something, and whatever you do, he takes.
Well, Marcus and his older brother Jordan, who plays at Central Arkansas, are lighting it up this year. His older brother Jordan averaging nearly 24 a game for Central Arkansas. Marcus in his sophomore season over 22. And he is leading the Big East Conference in scoring. Here we go with Wisconsin and the first possession as we start the second half. It is a 9-point game, and it is Brevin Pretzel. Couple of threes for Pretzel. This is a player that Wisconsin is desperate to try to get going, especially now shorthanded in the backcourt. He is a deadly shooter, but hasn't really shown it in games yet. Annam, not there. Rebound pulled down by Ford.
I like that move by Sakar Annam. High percentage going towards the rim, just didn't fall for him.
Wisconsin now on a 15-5 run. Oh! And Iverson looking for a call, didn't get it. Help gets the rebound. Howard in transition. Howard probing with Pretzel on him. Good defense by Wisconsin.
Yeah, good job by rotating defensively.
Howard now with Iverson on him. Little floater, and it'll be an offensive foul as Davison collects the charge. That is number 3 on Marcus Howard. Remember, Rousey has 3 as well. That's why he's not in the starting lineup to begin this second half. And now Howard picks up number 3.
I didn't agree with that call. Pat Driscoll's one of the best we have in the game. I did not think Davison would set that situation. That's a tough break for Marquette.
So Rousey comes back in. He'll play with the 3 fouls as Howard sits. And him with Iverson. Iverson's got to do paint. And Iverson cannot get those to go.
I like what Sakar Adam is doing defensively to Khalid Iverson. Iverson tries to be a bulldog, but Sakar Adam too strong for that.
See how Marquette will go with Howard on the bench. Rousey in the first half in 9 minutes had 6 points. Helt gets it deep. Shot clock's now at 6. Helt trying to fight for some space. Gets a little left-handed roll.
Matt Helt, those are bonus points for Marquette. Doesn't score a lot, but does a lot of the dirty work. Good job of taking his time because he had the height advantage.
He knows all about this rivalry. He's a Wisconsin kid from Neenah, Wisconsin. The 6'10 junior Matt Helt scores just over 5 points per game. He's done a terrific job defensively on Ethan Happ today. Ford and Davison, the 2 freshmen in the starting lineup. Davison lost the handle. Davison got to put up a prayer, and the shot clock will expire. Marquette basketball.
Good defensive discipline there by Marquette. Davison does a really good job of drawing the defense off their feet. That time, Sam Hauser stayed solid.
That's the 8th turnover for Wisconsin. The Badgers only turn it over 10 a game as Rousey drops a long-range bomb. Andrew Rousey hits his 3rd 3, has not missed from behind the arc. 3 for 3. Rousey now with 9.
Good job there, trying to post up Brevin Pritzel. They didn't get it in there, but I like the approach by Wisconsin.
Iverson on the ISO, kicks it out. Davison gets it right back to him. Little give and go. And Davison is fouled on his way to the hole. And they're going to call the foul on Greg Elliott, who got him from behind. First foul for Elliott. And Davison again wreaking havoc. Goes back to the free throw line. Davison was 6 for 8 from the free throw line in the first half.
We saw something that we hadn't seen Wisconsin do all game long. Davison hits the post and then he cuts towards the basket. The defense turns their head. Greg Elliott, Badgers taking advantage of these freshmen on defense. He gets to the basket, gets 2 free throw opportunities.
And his 3rd miss. 7 for 10 from the line is Davison. 10-point game, Marquette with the ball and the lead. Rousey just hit a 3 last possession. Wants it back. And a quick trigger for Rousey. That one's short. Iverson with a rebound. Marquette started this game by making 7 of their first 8 3-pointers. They had 5 in a row at one point. They're 2 out of 7 since that time. As Happ, man, that is money. Ethan Happ right in his wheelhouse in the lane.
That was a great job by the Badgers, spacing the floor and popping Happ into the post at the right time where he could get it without the double team.
Happ has 11. He's pushing his way toward a double-double. 11.6 rebounds. Trying to split the double team. It's Happ with those great hands with the pick. And Happ's going all the way. He scores. Ethan Happ with the steal and the finish in transition. Another poke away by Happ. There's a big guy that can do a lot against the guards with the ball in their hands. Now Rousey goes right by him. What a finish by Andrew Rousey.
I tell you what, man, Rousey and Howard, I'm smiling over here because Rousey knows they're playing him for the 3-point line. He puts the Jets up, gets past Happ off the glass. Beautiful move.
Pushes the lead from 6 to 8. Davison posting up Elliott, and that is a travel. Turnover, Wisconsin. That is their 9th. Will take us to the timeout. But Ethan Happ starting to announce his presence of authority here.
Doing a great job getting into the passing lanes. Comes up with the rock and moves it easily to the rim. And watch Rousey puts the burners on, gets past, and the teardrop off the glass. Welcome back to Madison as Marquette enjoys an 8-point lead. Let's look at Ethan Happ and how the swing offense can do a lot of things. Ethan Happ typically catches the ball on the block, but watch how they bring him back to the middle, right here where the double team can't come. And there's great floor spacing, and boom, pop him in the middle. There's no double team. He goes one-on-one against Matt Hill. That's a good job of Wisconsin adjusting to the Marquette defense.
Leads the Badgers in those 3 categories. Only player in the nation to lead the Badgers, or to lead their team in those 3 categories. Marquette had a 17-point lead the first 10 minutes of the game as Rousey left wide open. And Rousey talking a little trash, looking at some of the Wisconsin fans. He has that part in him that will get under the skin of his opponent, he and Howard.
No doubt about it. And Wisconsin continues to switch on defense, and Marquette has been very patient against that. He's been able to find really good shots as a result.
Rousey has scored the last 8 points for Marquette. Wisconsin with the shot clock at 6. We'll have it side out. Back to Rousey.
Well, watch here. Miscommunication defensively. You can't leave the hottest shooter on the floor wide open, and Rousey hitting that 3 against the dome.
He's made 4 out of 5 from behind the arc. These are important minutes right here for Rousey. Remember, Marcus Howard's on the bench with 3 fouls, and Rousey's playing with 3 fouls. And yet Wojo, with this move with Rousey, able to withstand some of this foul trouble. Here's Happ on the tape, gets a foul, and gets the bucket. Ethan Happ somehow got it to the rim. And a chance at a 3-point trip down the floor with a shot clock winding down.
Yeah, really good set play. There's nobody in sight. Everybody clears out above the 3-point line, allowing Ethan Happ with a pretty reverse.
Happ, a 62% free throw shooter. That one misses badly. So the Badgers settled for 2, but the shot clock was at the end, and it's back to single digits. Look at the free throw attempts, the discrepancy between the 2. Rousey running the show with Howard on the bench. You figured Howard will be coming back soon. And Reavers fouls Rousey. He'll go to the line to shoot 3.
Andrew Rousey does that better than any player in college basketball. He gets at least one of those every single game because you have to stay at home on his 3-point shot. If he shot fakes, it's natural for younger players, especially with Nate Reavers out there on an island. Those bigs don't like to cover that 3. Unfamiliar territory, and Rousey takes advantage.
Well, Marquette has only gotten to the line once today. That was to cap off the 3-point possession. But you talk about Andrew Rousey and what he does among active players. He has made the most 3-pointers right now in college basketball. Rousey transferring in. 15 points now. His first free throw is good. Rousey averages 7 free throw attempts per game.
Think about that.
In 9 games prior to today, he had 63 free throw attempts. That would be the James Harden equivalent of the college game, getting to the line.
And you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, Brian, because a lot of college players want to get away from contact. He embraces contact because he's so good at the free throw line. He is a total player. And between he and Marcus Howard, best shooting backcourt in America.
Rousey scored the last 11 for Marquette. He has pushed the lead to 12. Looking for Happ. Catches it deep with the left hand. Ethan Happ absorbing the contact and scoring at the basket. Ethan Happ now with 17 points. Has 6 rebounds, a couple of assists as well. Happ and Rousey have been the story here for their 2 teams. Here's Hauser. And Hauser with all that length. Sam Hauser at 6'8" found himself wide open in the lane.
His theme song should be Smooth Operator by Sade, because he doesn't get rushed. He's smooth with it, takes advantage of whatever the defense is giving him.
Hauser has started all 11 for Marquette this year. Here's Davison, a long three. Right on line, but too long. Now, off the miss. Rousey pushing it. Rousey spins. High off the window. No. Annam with a rebound, and he is fouled. Sakar Annam will go to the free throw line. Rousey pushing the tempo after the three-point miss.
Hapwood's a little disappointed right now. You got a situation where this is a critical juncture, where if Wisconsin can close this gap and get into single digits, this becomes a tighter game for Marquette. But Marquette is such a good shooting team. Anytime you have a lapse, they can take advantage.
Charlie Thomas will check in as Happ will go to the bench. By the way, they put that foul on Pritzl, so Happ out for a breather. He has just the one foul. Charles Thomas didn't even play against Temple. He's got a few DNPs here lately, and finally getting some time on the floor for Wisconsin. It is a 14-point lead. Marcus Howard returns with 3 fouls.
And so here's the difference, Brian. Marquette takes out a player and brings in Marcus Howard. Wisconsin takes out their best player, Ethan Happ, and they bring in a guy in Thomas, as you said, who didn't even play last game. So this is the difference in the level that each team can go to off the bench.
Brevin Pritzl got it up to the rim, had a pretty decent look, but can't convert there. And Marquette can add to their lead. Rousey, Howard on the floor together. And the dynamic Rousey, wow, he got fouled. And finally the whistle comes. Charles Thomas got him on the wrist. And Rousey back to the line. So Stephen, when Howard went to the bench with 3 fouls, Marquette not only withstands Howard on the bench, they actually thrive. They went on a 12-4 run.
Yep, and so when I point to this man right here, Andrew Rousey is the biggest reason. He's calmed down after that technical foul. I'm sure at halftime there was some paint that came off the walls. Steve Wojciechowski getting on his case about that. He's responded in the right manner, and I want young players, both young women and men, to watch this, that the game is ever-changing. So you might make a mistake. Do not hang your head, come back and play. That's what we're seeing from Andrew Rousey.
Next best decision, right? Next best move.
That's right.
And if there's any coach who can understand the mindset of an Andrew Rousey and Steve Wojciechowski, who channeled all that fiery attitude into a positive for the Duke Blue Devils all those years. Wisconsin needing an answer, and they get an answer from a Lee Ford. Redshirt freshman out of Lawrenceville, Georgia. He and Dimitri Trice were teammates at the IMG Academy. His teammate here in Wisconsin now is injured. Trice, the starting point guard, is out, along with Kobe King. 14-point lead. Rousey's been handling it well. Annam on the take. Pritzl right there with him. And Annam. Rebound, Charles Thomas.
Solid defensive possession that time by Wisconsin. They cut down all the open looks, forced Sakar Annam into something he doesn't like doing, going with his offhand.
TJ Schlund on the floor. There's a turnover. That's a steal by Kane on the entry pass. Very uncharacteristic. A ton of turnovers. Wow, Rousey with a little crossover gets to the hole. He is fouled, and back to the line he will go. Timeout on the floor. Free throws coming from Marquette. Trying to stretch that lead. They're up 14. Marquette up 14. They have the ball. Free throws coming for the Golden Eagles. Moment ago, let's listen to Steve Wojciechowski in the huddle.
On the defensive end, we need to keep our defense tight. When Happ has the ball, the last time he got it, we left our big guy on an island.
Here's what he's talking about. We diagrammed this earlier, how Wisconsin is adjusting to the way that Marquette was double-teaming Happ, so they bring him into the paint. What Steve Wojciechowski knows is that Wisconsin shoots 33% from three-point line. So it's better for them defensively to give the three-point line up and make Happ kick it out, Brian, as opposed to letting him go one-on-one.
Well, Happ and Rousey have been the big scorers here in the second half. Happ has 8 for Wisconsin. Rousey now with 15 in the second half for Marquette. He has played huge minutes with 3 fouls nonetheless. 16-6 run now for Marquette. Rousey has 12 to 16. Brad Davison back on the floor for Wisconsin. Happ gives it to Ford. And Ford with a hot pass that Iverson cannot handle, and yet another turnover for Wisconsin. That is their 11th.
And Ford was trying to make the tough play. He should have swung to Schluntz, who was wide open on the three-point line, that has had success there today, but he hesitated and tried to make the tough pass, resulting to a turnover.
I thought you handled the swung to Schlunt very well. That was excellent. Here's Rousey for 3. Oh, and Andrew Rousey hits another one. Rousey time has arrived here at the Kohl Center. 18 second half points for Andrew Rousey. He's got 24 for the game. Rousey had a 40-point game in his college career, and he is hitting on all cylinders right now in Madison. What was once a 6-point lead for Marquette, they've expanded it to 19, and this guy has been in the middle of all of it, Stephen.
Well, you talked about a 19-6 run in favor of Marquette. Rousey has 15 of those 19 points in this run. He has taken over this game. He's taken advantage of the miscommunication on the defensive end, and that's a pretty read right there. Stop and go, come back off of the screen. Playing with ultimate confidence right now.
Rousey's 18 second half points. He has outscored the entire Wisconsin team in the second half, 18-14. And Wisconsin in desperate need of a run here, down 19 points with the ball coming out of the timeout. Shot clock down to 4. Davison goes by Rousey. Davison gets to the hole and finishes. A little finger roll from the freshman.
Oh, Steve Wojciechowski is beside himself on the sideline. You cannot allow that to happen. Everybody knows there's 4 seconds left. You've got to converge on the ball handler.
We'll see if they keep calling Rousey's number. Why wouldn't you? There's a little give and go action. McCain to Helt. Well done. The two guys you are not paying attention to, and Howard and Rousey on the floor, and they deliver with a little 2-man game.
Matt Helt is 3 or 4 from the field, so when he's gotten his opportunities, he's been golden.
13-4 run for Marquette. They keep stretching the lead. Biggest lead of the game. That one knocked out of the hands of Davison. They're going to get a foul on, they get there, Rousey.
Like what I saw from Sam Hauser. He gets in Rousey's face, telling him something defensively. That's the second time he's been able to drive past Rousey.
Yeah, they did give that to Rousey. Could have gone to Helt as well, but Rousey picks up number 4, and he'll be headed to the bench here. What an impressive window of playing time for Andrew Rousey. And Hauser trying to calm him down. I mean, look, there's no other way to put it. He is a dynamic scorer, but he is a high-maintenance player as well, because you have to constantly stay on him. But the thing that makes him great is also the thing that can get him in trouble at times.
That's true. And, you know, I think that Marquette will take it, because here's
no question.
He can shoot it, and he can create as well as any guard in the league. And here's the thing. On this floor, they've seen a player that's similar to Andrew Rousey. Yeah. His name is J.P. Makura.
That's right.
From Xavier. And he was doing very similar things in terms of agitating the opponent. But that young man right there, I take him on my team.
That's a great call. There's so much good with it. You're willing to put up with some of the bad.
That's right.
And he can get you in some trouble. But you made a great point earlier. They were booing Rousey in the first half here at the Kohl Center. And since they booed him, he has lit it up as Howard now goes to the hole off the window. So fast.
And here's where Wisconsin's not going to get a break, because Rousey goes to the bench, and now Marcus Howard is going to take over. And he's going to be aggressive every time he touches.
Happ gets it inside, gives it up to Davison. Davison working inside. No. Well, there is a lot at the rim that Wisconsin is not getting. I mean, they're getting their shot, but they're not converting. Other than Ethan Happ, they're having a hard time in there.
And I think, you know, when you talk about the players that are missing. Demetri Trice, Kobe King at 6'4", 200 plus would be able to go in and finish among the trees if he was available.
Tough pass ends up in the hands of Mace. And now Happ, and he's fouled. On the floor he goes, held, doing all he can to hang in there with Ethan Happ. Never afraid to stick his nose in there as Matt held. You can see the shiner under his left eye.
And I also, you know, you're guarding the premier big man in the country. And Ethan Happ is as good as they come.
Good effort by Howard trying to save that one. Shot clock at 18, Wisconsin ball. Matt Helt, now a junior, gives him a little over 5 points, a little shy of 5 rebounds. Did have an 8-point game against Vermont. He's an excellent free throw shooter as well. Davison, tough three, had a block, no foul. Elliott got him on the hand, and it's going to be a 3-shot foul for Brad Davison.
Well, those freshmen are so eager to please, but that eagerness makes them lose their defensive discipline. Right there. And then Davison kicks his legs out. Elliott, he'll have days like that.
Somewhere Reggie Miller says, oh man, I love that.
That's right.
Good work.
Yep.
Davison has been at the line now 13 times. He's 10 for 13 from the free throw line, and he now has 20 points. Every time you think Marquette is going to put the foot down on the Badgers, Wisconsin answers with a little bit of a run. They got it within 6. At one point, Marquette led by 17 in the first half. And 2 out of 3 for Brad Davison. So it is a 17-point lead for Marquette with the ball. 8:20 remaining in regulation here, this long rivalry game. Marquette from downtown Milwaukee making the trip 75 miles here to Madison. Ends up in the hands of Davison. A couple of opportunities there for Marquette. Iverson to the hole. Oh, Khalil climbing the ladder and a two-handed jam.
Khalil doing a great job going baseline. I called Khalil earlier. I have to apologize. But Iverson giving them some boost here. They need this Cole Center crowd to come alive through these young Badgers to get some life, trying to close down this deficit.
Howard slips and falls. He travels. Turnover Marquette. Timeout. Wisconsin trying to make one last push to get in this game. And the high-flying Khalil Iverson with a two-handed jam. It's a 15-point game. Tribute Classic presented by Geico tips off today. VCU taking on number 19 Seton Hall. Coverage begins at 2:30 Eastern on Fox. Stream it live on Fox Sports Go. Well, the Wisconsin Badgers in a very difficult stretch of games. They're rebuilding their roster, minus the 2 guards today, but I can't imagine a tougher stretch of games, Stephen, for anybody else in the country than what Greg Gard has faced here recently.
Well, 3 straight ranked opponents, and then you throw in a game between UCLA and Virginia, and it's been rough. And here's the thing. In 6 of the losses, 4 of those, they were within 2 points in the last 2 minutes of the game. So it's not like they're getting blown out like they did at home against Ohio State. They've been in the majority of these losses, so this is uncharacteristic for this Wisconsin program.
Davison, and now the ball ends up down in the hands of Happ, and that is a travel. Ethan Happ turns it over. The result of all of that for Wisconsin with this rebuilding roster, remember losing a ton of production and a ton of talent from last year's team, is that they are 4-6 and they're in danger of getting off to their worst start in the first 11 games for their program in the Cole Center era and over the last 20 years. Hauser in the corner. Ooh, that is a big 3 for Marquette. It might be a put-away 3 for the Golden Eagles as they go up 18 now with under 7 to go.
Marcus Howard turns the corner. Ethan Happ tries to help. Sam Hauser's spaced and makes it pay.
Oh my goodness, he is right. Khalil Iverson with a spin and a jam. 2 thunder jams by Iverson.
I'd like to see that earlier in the game, though. You know, make those type of plays early in the game before you get down too much.
2 players hit the deck. Back to this nifty move by Iverson. Yikes.
There's not many players in college basketball that can spin that quickly, gather, elevate, and throw it down like that. Iverson, very impressive.
Explosive to the rim. He's a junior. He's out of Delaware. He's part of that class that Greg Gard is trying to get more out of. Iverson, guys like Charlie Thomas as well. Delaware, Ohio, I should say. Not the state of Delaware. Here's Pritzel for 3. Howard on the rebound. Howard wanting to move it. Marquette working the clock a little bit. Howard goes by Davison, and Howard with a little teardrop. He keeps his big game going. Rousey has 24. Howard now has 20. He's hit 3 threes in the game, both playing with foul trouble as well. Hap trying to find some room, cannot. Pritzel on the take, runs into help, no. And it's going to be Davison who runs that one down, a deflection. Oh, how about the hustle by Annam? And a foul on Sakar Annam, but you love the effort there. Annam's a Minneapolis guy. Davison, a Minneapolis guy. I'm sure they've come across each other in the past.
Yeah, Davison knew he had to get to it and did a really good job of shielding his body to not let Annam get to the ball, but Davison's exhausted. I mean, you see him bent over trying to catch his breath, but I know that shoulder is bothering him.
He's played 33 minutes already. Still 5.5 to go in this game. Greg Gard told us it was going to be heavy minutes from Davison, Hap, and Iverson. They're all 30-plus minutes right now. Davison back to the free throw line. And cannot convert on the first of the 1-and-1. So Marquette ball, no damage there for Marquette. Chance to push it to 20. Marquette at 6-3. They're going to be a very interesting team in the Big East. There are days when they can beat anybody in the country, as Davison with the deflection almost taking out our buddy Matt LePay over there, the great voice of the Badgers. I think that was Matt, although I couldn't quite see under the table, which is where he was.
That's him right there. The black sweater and the white shirt.
Great voice of the Badgers. He doesn't go under the table here. He's trying to help his guy out.
Most damage is going to be done if Davison hit that table out of frustration. And I understand. He's left his body out here all game long. And the only he has 20 points on the day, but the only shots that were not contested were those steals early in the first half when he got those layups.
Good point. Davison, 4 of 8 shooting. He's been to the line a lot. 11 made free throws in this game. He's been on the take often. Trying to work out the clock here. Reset to 4 on the shot clock. Our buddy Bo Borowski filled us in.
Just adding 4 seconds to both the shot clock and the game clock.
So 5:06 left, 8 on the shot clock. We appreciate the hospitality of our friendly officials. Howard misses a 3. Annam with a rebound. Boy, Annam is a blue-collar guy, man. He does all the dirty work. And for a team of 3-point shooters and a spread offense, you need a guy like that to go clean it up.
I agree. And I think he and Matt Helt fit this team very well in terms of their personality.
Hauser. In and out. Reavers with the rebound.
Right now, you're going to have to play a little uncharacteristically if you're Wisconsin. You got to look for some quick threes.
Pritzel cannot hit. Kane pulls down the rebound. And Hap comes in, gets the steal, and calls the timeout. Playing hard all the way through despite the score. Badgers down 18. They'll have the ball. Timeout, Greg Gard. Marquette trying to improve to 7-3. They lead by 18 over their state rivals, the Wisconsin Badgers. And this has been a tough week at the top of the rankings, right? How about Kansas going down to Washington? And then the Gators, they've lost 3 straight, including, well, they have today, they have Cincinnati, but it could be 4 in a row for Florida.
Yeah, they lost to Loyola. And then you look at the Gophers, who lost to a very good Miami team, and they get blitzed at Nebraska. So really interesting week in college basketball.
I think you could take those 4, and if that ended up as a Final Four, you wouldn't bat an eye with those 4 who have sustained losses this week. And the remaining unbeatens around the nation, Duke still the top of the class at 11-0. TCU's played extremely well. And out of the Big East, Villanova continues to be the headliner in that conference. Reavers, that was partially blocked by Hauser. Happ cannot finish on the offensive board, and now Held gets a piece of it, and the Badgers come away with nothing.
That's an example of how the season has gone for Wisconsin. Opportunities, just can't convert.
Using the clock. Marquette trying to get out of here in their first true road game with a victory over Wisconsin. Marquette is going to have 9 days off before their next game. Howard for 3. Look at him go. His range is forever. And Marcus Howard and Andrew Rousey have done just that. They have quieted down this crowd. Howard now with 23 to go along with Rousey's 24. Top 2 scorers in the Big East. There's not a lot of room to work in there. We got to give Matt Held a lot of credit in this game. Wisconsin has gotten some looks inside, but Held has disrupted many of those looks.
And you know what? He's disrupted them without fouling. I mean, he builds a wall. He can block the shot when he gets the opportunity, but when he doesn't, when he's not positioned, he just backs away and forces the Badgers to convert, and they haven't been able to do so.
We saw a big embrace there with Wojciechowski and his freshman Jamal Cain. Cain will exit with 20 good minutes in this game, had a couple of rebounds, 2 assists, scored 3. Howard off 1 foot comes up short. Happ with the rebound. Wisconsin has missed their last 9 field goals. As Happ looking for Reavers. That might be a combination Greg Gard will use more moving forward.
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, I've liked Nate Reavers the time that he came in against, I believe it was Milwaukee.
That's right.
And, you know, they were going to redshirt him, and they decided they needed to play him. He's a confident young man. He's going to have a big future here.
Had 10 points against Ohio State. Answered that with 11 in their win against Penn State last week. Rousey with a shot clock at 5. I don't think he's giving the ball up. No, he is. He gives it to Held, who finishes. So Rousey with a little dime there to get Held on the scoreboard.
And believe me, Marquette's not going to let up. This is a rivalry game, ladies and gentlemen. It's not something that they're going to ease up and just, pack up tent. They're trying to really put it on Wisconsin.
Well, these are valuable minutes, too, as Pretzel gets the left-hander to go. These are valuable minutes here, Stephen. When you're looking at Wisconsin, we talked a little bit about it, but Kobe King goes down yesterday with a knee injury. That was in the final 15 minutes of practice. So Greg Gard talking to us today, we didn't have any time to practice with these new rotations. They knew Dimitri Trice was going to be out. So back to the drawing board for Greg Gard and the Badgers. They got a lot of work to do here, and they're going to drop to 4-7. Already 1-1 in conference. Hauser hits the 3. They keep coming for Marquette. 14 made 3-pointers for the Golden Eagles. 14 out of 22, 64% from behind the arc. Reavers, he's got it, and a foul, and a chance at 3 for the Badgers.
Well, this Wisconsin program is a proud one. Had great tradition, and this is a little unusual for them and their fan base. You can see Ohio State and now Marquette come in with double-digit victories.
Rousey will exit. Good rally for him. Boy, you can tell how much this means to Steve Wojciechowski. I don't even think he was on his third cup of coffee when we talked to him today, and he was already jacked up. He goes, this is a rivalry game.
Oh, yeah.
Rousey's out with 24 points and playing a lot of those minutes with foul trouble in the second half. He had 18 in the second half.
1 minute remaining in the game.
As we go under a minute. Marquette with 9 days off, as I mentioned. Their next game will be December 18th. And of note, that will be the return of Harry Froling to the Marquette lineup. The transfer from SMU is going to be eligible for the next game for Marquette. He is a big man who's going to give them a lot inside. Froling at 6'11", will have 3 years of eligibility. Marquette's going to change a little bit next time we see him.
They will. Skilled big man, and it's going to take some time for him to, get into game-type shape and get into the flow, but he's going to be an integral part, especially in Big East play where it gets rough and tumble, especially in the paint area.
Marquette will have UNI. They'll start conference play late December on the 27th against Xavier. Xavier won on this floor here against Wisconsin as well. And this is going to put the finishing touches on an emphatic victory for the Marquette Golden Eagles at the Kohl Center. Wisconsin, they'll have 6 consecutive home games. Coming up Thursday against Western Kentucky. They open up conference play against Indiana January 2nd. But one of the most lopsided losses in the long run of this rivalry. Greg Gard and the Badgers go to 4-7, their worst start through 11 games in this Kohl Center era. Dynamic backcourt once again. Marquette, they look like they're getting real fast here for the Big East play.
They do, and they're getting good contributions from their bench, from their stellar freshmen, Elliott Kane and Theo John. And when Harry Froling comes in, they're serving notice to the rest of the Big East Conference.
Rousey goes for 24, Howard with 23, Hauser 16. A dynamic backcourt Stephen opened up our broadcast with. That's our final, 82-63, Marquette to 7-3. Now let's send it to our FS1 College Hoop studio. Here's Rob Stone, Steve Lavin, and Jim Jackson from Los Angeles.